So how do you think young architects and new businesses can start using them to make their businesses more efficient?
The number one challenge for us uh, as a fraternity is the fact that we only cater to about 2 to 3% of the Indian population. Uh, and the crisis in some ways is not because architects cannot design well. In fact, that's the opposite, wherein the quality of architecture has not been in question ever, but the question goes down to how much would hiring an architect cost. You know how the law is framed in India. I mean, in most of the urban areas, buildings up to 4 stories could be designed by a non-architect, people of other or qualification. Uh, in order for us to expand that 2 to 3% to, let's say, even double digits, even before thinking about 50 to 60%, we need to move from the repetitive manual labor into some sort of digitization or automation, so to speak. And the the kind of offices or practices which will benefit the most from this would be small and medium studios, because they are the ones who reach out to more number of smaller projects. You know, the corporates deal with larger projects, projects for the governments, projects for the top 100 companies, so on and so forth. So on one hand, we need to expand the catchment area of our clientele, so to overall uh, make the country better with better designed buildings. And on the other hand, if we think inwards, what we need to do is that there are specific aspects which have to be dependent on data, and data has to be extracted through some sort of computation or software. For example, if we are to design a hospital, one of the primary or key factors is how efficiently can we design the corridor, how efficiently movement will happen in the corridor. Now, for a large hospital, for let's say a multi-specialty hospital, the number of variables are such that it's very difficult for our brains to wrap around it and then figure out the right solution. So those cases will need some sort of intervention, digital intervention, to figure out which works best. And I'll give you another example. There are certain other aspects which can be automated for sure. For example, yeah, for example, column beam layout on regular orthogonal buildings. Like I mentioned earlier, any aspect of work wherein the logic is same. So, for example, take any orthogonal uh, uh, plan or design. The same soft if else logic is applied across various building types, right? I mean, in our head, we know if this is the maximum span allowed, then probably in this direction I could have X number of columns, and in this direction I could have N number of columns, and then we repeat that grid as much as possible and then make micro adjustments. Now, the challenge is to a formalize what that soft difference logic could be, and then make a plugin or a software which could deliver that. I think that would save a lot of man hours collected. I mean, think of all the number of orthogonal plans that are being designed in India and worldwide, and then imagine a software which could take care of it, and so you at one instance you uh, so save a lot of time, and then that can be uh, poured into creative endeavors. And so collectively, what we're doing is we're eliminating time from the regular mundane job and investing more time into the job for which we're known in the society, which is creativity and making beautiful buildings. I'll give you just one last tiny example, which is uh, in most of the run-of-the-mill projects, we sort of end up making a 3D massing and then render it a certain style. Now, there are formalized methods available, which are called shape grammar, amongst others, which can be applied to that 3D shape to generate various kinds of stylized 3D versions. It's metaphorically, it's pretty similar to using a photo filter, wherein depending on which filter you select, the kind of image changes from a Van Gogh style to a sepia style, and so on and so forth. So you have presets, for example, country style, Art Deco style, neoclassical style. So those can be applied, and then you can have various options, and from there obviously you can micro edit and then uh, change the specification. So these kind of steps would save a lot of time. And so we will gradually go towards these parts. Some organizations have already started it, and progressively, as they get more and more discussed on conferences and get written about and spoken about, we will undertake across.